Hello, Mario. In this video I'm going to take a look at perimeter and area of a rectangle. Perimeter. What is the perimeter? Well, it's the distance around the outside of an object, and in the metric system we tend to measure that in meters, although it can be measured in any unit you like, really. And it's the outside of an object. So in military terms we talk about our perimeter, or the security of our perimeter, or a perimeter fence, a fence around the outside of the object. This area is a measure of the amount of surface, and the sort of base unit for the metric system that we use is square meters. So generally when you're working with meters or square meters, it's a two-dimensional concept. Meters times meters gives us meters squared. So the rectangle, well, the rectangle is a polygon with four sides. The opposite sides are equal in length, so this one tick here is equal to this one tick here, two tick here equal to the two tick here. The rectangle has four angles, and they are all right angles, 90 degrees. Four equal angles, 90 degrees. A square is a special case of a rectangle where the sides are all equal. So four equal sides and four right angles, but a rectangle nonetheless. Now, in naming our sides, there's various names for them. They can be called the height, or the width, or the wide side here, generally when we're referring to the shorter side, and the base, or the length, or the long side here when we're referring to the longest side. Now, my personal favourite is the use of base and height, because this carries on into other polygons and shapes, the idea of the base and the height. The height is always at right angles to the base. No problems here with the rectangle, because the angles are always at right angles to be a rectangle anyway. So let's maybe have just a little bit of look at the formula for the area of a rectangle, which is length times width, area of the rectangle, or area with the little symbol for rectangle, length times width, or L times W, L dot W, and LW. These are all different ways that the formula may be expressed. But again, my personal favourite, because it flows through in a theme-like manner with the rest of the mathematics sort of stuff, is that base times height. So that can be written B times H, B dot H, or BH. So, yep. Now your answer will be in whatever units you're using squared. So make sure that you're using the same units for both components, the length and the width, or the base and the height. Typically we use meters, so we end up with meters squared. Now the idea of the perimeter, distance around the outside of the rectangle, the formula for that is 2 outside of bracket L plus W, length plus width. Or as again, my favourite, 2 bracket B plus H. Now what the 2 outside the bracket means is 2 times what's ever in the bracket. And in maths we do what's in the bracket first, so that would be add the base and the height together, multiply them by 2, and that will give us the perimeter. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of examples. What is the perimeter and area of the rectangles below? The first one I've shown is quite a simple one. Base of 6 meters, height of 3 meters. Because it's even meters, I've been able to draw in a little 1 meter by 1 meter grid, which gives us squares. So as we can count there, hopefully, that there's 18 squares there. And it's that would be the area, hopefully, but we'll try that with our formula here. So there we go. The area of the rectangle equals BH, base times height. And I like to use the units and keep a count of our units as we go along. So we've got 6 meters times 3 meters. Okay, so 6 times 3 is 18. And m times m, meters times meters, is meters squared. So there we get our area, 18 meters squared. Now, let's have a look at the perimeter. Perimeter of the rectangle, trot out our formula, 2 bracket b plus h. Let's fill in what we know, and that's equal to 2 times 6 meters plus 3 meters. Do the brackets first. 6 plus 3 is 9 meters, so we're adding them. And 2 times 9, 18 meters. That's the perimeter of that rectangle, 6 meter by 3 meter rectangle. So let's have one now where we've got sort of quite different numbers. This might be a large room or something. So the area of the rectangle equals base times height. In this case equals 16.27 meters base times 7.52 meters height. We multiply that out on our calculator because we can't really do that one in our head very quickly. And we get 122.3504 meters squared. I've counted for the meters squared. Now, typically what we do, if the information is given to us to 2 decimal places, as is the case here, we give the answer to 2 decimal places. So we've got to do a little bit of what we call rounding there. So we then go that becomes 122.35. We want to look at the second decimal place. The number after it is the 0, so we can just leave that as 5. If the number after the 5, or in the second decimal place, had been 5 or more, we might consider rounding it up to 0.36. And we say 2 decimal places, that's the accuracy. We've rounded it, and it's an approximation. So let's have a look at the perimeter of this rectangle, and that's equal to 2 bracket b plus h, that's our formula, 2 times 16.27 meters plus 7.52 meters, and we add the 16.27, 7.52, add them together, multiply by 2, and we'll get, on our calculator, we'll get 47.58 meters. It all stays in 2 decimal places. There's no need for any rounding or anything, and so that's all very well. Now, it can get a little bit more trickier than that. Sometimes we have different sorts of information. So calculate the area of the rectangle below. So what information have we got? Well, we've got the base, or the long side, 9 meters, and the perimeter 26 meters. Can we work out an area from that, I wonder? Well, let's see what we can do. So we know the perimeter of the rectangle, we've got the formula for that, and that's equal to 2 bracket b plus h. So we fill that in, put that in there, just our formula that we know, or we can look it up, and then we start filling in what we know. The perimeter of the rectangle is in fact 26 meters, so 26 goes in there, and that's equal to 2 times bracket 9 meters, which we're given, plus h, whatever h is. Alright, so we can see there that we've got 26 meters equals 2 times what's ever in that bracket. So if we were to divide through by 2, that would just give us 1 times what's in the bracket. So we put a line under each one, divide both sides by 2. What you do to one side you must do to the other, and we get 26 meters divided by 2 is 13 meters, and that's equal to, well, if it was 2 times, so we just take away the 2, and that's 9 meters plus h. That's good. Now, we can see there that if we had the 9 meters away from the h, we'd have h on its own, which is what our goal is, to get h on its own. So we'll take 9 metres from both sides. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we get 13 metres minus 9 metres, which is 4 metres. 9 metres plus h minus 9 metres is just h. So we get h equals 4 metres. Yeehaw. Alright, so now area of a rectangle formula equals b times h. We already knew what base was, 9 metres. We worked out what the height was, 4 metres. 4 times 9 is 36. Metres times metres, metres squared. 36 metres squared, area of that rectangle. And all we knew was the length of one side and the perimeter. Pretty clever, I think.